Hey buddies, welcome to the show. We're still doing VR, so I'm too lazy to move the couch over, so we're gonna be set up like this as we do some Overwatch catch-up. You know that that should be a new name for the show. It'll become really famous.
Overwatch ketchup?
Overwatch ketchup, and then a ketchup bottle.
Yeah. Need some help?
Nope. Just dancing.
My dances are more like this. There we go. Whoa, look at you go. All right. So there's Overwatch, a PTR just hit, and we're gonna check it out because it's a pretty big one. It happened while I was sleeping. I was just what do you know? Like, it was a weird coincidence. I was dreaming of Jeff Kaplan. Were you? That's
and
not.
Then I wake up and it turns out that there was an update.
Were you actually dreaming of him?
I dream of him like every night. So to get to this, we're gonna look at. These are patch notes, not PTR notes. I'm gonna go into community announcements. PTR? Where do they keep the PTR updates?
I don't know.
This is always such a fucking challenge. It's not announced, it's the official patch notes go in announcements. So then that would mean PTR feedback? Nope.
I just googled PTR notes.
I know you could Google it,
They're
but
kind of tough to find.
PTR, where would they put it?
I always thought it was in announcements.
Yeah, me too. Fuck, I thought I had it up, but I had up the regular patch notes.
So.
Oh my god, man. It's not easy. Everybody just, see, the thing is, if I Google PTR patch notes, I'm going to get spoiled. Because the first 10 results are going to be Overwatch PTR now available, but that's for August.
That's today.
Okay, I got to it luckily without seeing like a Reddit announcement or like.
With your eyes.
That's the thing. Like it ends up on like 50 different blogs and they all get top results over top of Blizzard. That's why I don't just Google. Okay, all right.
Fair.
Let's check out what we got then.
Look what we got.
New game mode, Deathmatch, and Team. I actually already knew this because people were tweeting me, Deathmatch in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Deathmatch. I hear that and I immediately am not interested, but let's see what they have to say. Because, okay, like, let's qualify that statement. I grew up with Quake 2 Deathmatch. That's all I played for a long time. Summers spent playing Quake 2 Deathmatch, and I loved it until I found team-based combat and realized that deathmatch games aren't fun. Everybody's out for themselves, and it's a free-for-all.
Has it changed since Quake days, or is that just kind of the nature of deathmatches?
A deathmatch, in my definition, I'm going to read this in a second. A lot of people thrown into an arena together. Everyone's your enemy, and you get a point every time you kill a person. And sometimes you lose a point every time you die. And I'm seeing right there, first player to 20 points wins. So how does this go? 2 new game modes have been added. Arcade Deathmatch and Team Deathmatch. Okay, Team Deathmatch is a bit better, but still. In Deathmatch, 8 players go head-to-head until 1 player scores 20 points. Players will earn 1 point whenever they had the final blow on an opponent and will lose 1 point whenever they die to an environmental damage. Here's the other thing. It disproportionately favors certain characters, particularly characters that I'm not very fond of to begin with.
Maybe you should play as those characters.
I don't want to play Deathmatch. So this scoring will be tracked down to brand new scoreboard. The first player to 20 points wins. Oh, self-inflicted damage will also. Oh, only whenever they die to environmental damage and self-inflicted damage. So dying to an opponent it doesn't lose you a point.
Okay.
Okay. That dissuades camping or like playing it too safe. Team Deathmatch, 2 teams of 4 players face off until one team scores 30 points. Players will earn 1 point for their team whenever they land the final blow on an opponent and will lose 1 point whenever they die to environmental. If players are resurrected before they respawn, a corresponding point for their death will be deducted from the enemy team's score. The scoring will be tracked by default. What happens if they get to 30 and then a resurrect negate? I guess you can't resurrect on the 30th point.
Maybe not.
The first team to 30 points wins. Both modes will be playable on a selection of maps in our existing pool. Hanamura, Horizon, Tampa, okay. TDM, blah, blah, blah. We've made several modifications to many of these maps, including restricting play to specific areas in order to make it work. But they're announcing a new map, Chateau Gillard.
Ooh.
More about this new map below, both sides. And there is a developer update, which I think he'll probably show some of the map. Well, it's in the PTR now, so we'll actually be able to jump in as well.
Oh, you're gonna jump in?
Yeah, why not?
Sweet.
Chateau Gillard is Gillard.
Apparently the music's a bit loud.
Is it?
Yeah.
There you go. Chateau Gillard is located near Annecy in southeastern France. For hundreds of years, the estate was the influential Gillard family until it gradually fell into disrepair. Their power waned. Decades of revolution. Is her name?
I was just
is that her?
Say that. Is that Widowmaker?
Is that her family?
Or is it Widowmaker's husband's name?
Recently, the Chateau found a new owner, the Talon Widow. Oh, never mind. Talon Agent Widowmaker, who has returned with her family to her family's ancestral home. We got all the answers right there.
All right. Perfect.
You have to go to sleep soon. A number of data formats. Okay, hero updates. There's been buffs and nerfs. Junkrat gets a buff.
2 mines.
Concussion mine, 2 at once. I wonder how that works with the cooldown. First of all, that's a substantial increase to his power.
That's
his concussion
awesome.
mines are so powerful. They're the most powerful part of his kit. But
So
he
now
only
you
gets
can,
one every 4 seconds?
You can lay one out now, and you can always have one to for
Nobody will do that.
getaway. I will.
Nobody lays down their concussions. I mean, at the level I play at, nobody lays down concussions.
Why, is that an
Concussion-
amateur thing to do?
You can do it if you have an extra one, if you're waiting for people to come around and there's nobody to kill. But in the thick of things, the concussion mine is incredible for. Well, here's the thing. So concussion mine, in my opinion, is most valuable in the middle of battle because it blows Junkrat back, and it does 100 damage. Unlike his, what is his regular 120 damage? I forget the exact numbers. But a good Junkrat is constantly using that to get the fuck out. And Junkrat, being as squishy as he is, has to get the fuck out. He throws a concussion mine in the air at his opponent's face, detonates it immediately. Not only does he do a shit ton of damage to them, but he blows himself out of danger, and then you can't get to that Junkrat.
Right.
That's what a Junkrat will do. So here's a big question. If there are 2, can you even decide to detonate one and leave the other? How would you do that? There can't be separate buttons for each. I think it will be first mine out, first mine detonated. So if you toss one down on the ground, and then the opponent team is coming, and you've got your trap and your little thing in a pinch point set up, and you see a fucking Reaper coming at you, and he's about to get in your face, and you're like, oh fuck, you throw your second mine at him, and you detonate, which one detonates?
Yeah.
I think it'd be the first one you laid. So I think that this is going to...
If you throw one out, you have to detonate it before throwing another?
There you go. So this is going
Demoman's
to
sticky launcher.
encourage... Yeah. It's funny because they did similar changes to Demoman in the past with TF2, where they kind of almost encouraged the use of... Sticky mines were, like, when they were designed, I'm sure, were meant to be put up, lay in wait. Even in the Demoman's Meet the Demoman thing, it shows him putting those on traps and like blowing people up when they come in and don't realize until it's too late. But this is encouraging an even more Rambo style of play, kind of, I feel like diluting the uniqueness of the character that he can lay traps in wait. Of course, he's still going to have his regular trap, but again, like I said, people at higher level of play don't tend to lay the mine in wait. Unless they have it, there's no team around, it's like, why not? I'll toss it there. If it happens, it happens, but otherwise, the next guy who comes in my face, I'm throwing the mine at him.
Uh-huh.
Somebody caught that, right?
No.
The next guy who comes in my face.
I get it.
All right, so Riptire has
He's
been
running at your face.
Yeah. Movement speed has been increased by 30%. There's no longer a time limit when wall climbing. I don't even know what that time limit was. What the hell was that?
Yeah. There was a time limit when wall climbing?
So, due to holding 2 and the fact that you have to detonate the first before you can even lay out another, I do believe that you are going to see way more insane Junkrats. Also, I want to know when the cooldown starts. If you throw one out and blow it up, then there's no cooldown. And then if you throw out another one and blow it up, then there is a cooldown? I will have to see it when we jump in to test. Giving Junkrat's ability to store 2 concussion mines adds some much needed flexibility and versatility to his kit, particularly when using mines for mobility. Riptire's damage has always been very good, but it is often difficult to steer into the position before it was destroyed. Increasing its speed will allow players to effectively detonate the tire more often and decrease the amount of time the Junkrat is vulnerable while controlling it. I don't actually like this change
No.
to the tire. I'd rather they increase its health. Keep the speed the same, increase the health, so it requires a team to work together to make sure that tire doesn't hurt anybody. If everybody shoots at a tire, it dies. Let's make it a little bit harder for it to die, so that teams who work together to destroy it are rewarded and teams who don't are hurt. Just making it faster, particularly on the side of console, is just going to make it kind of harder for console players to deal with it. This is a disparity between PC and console, first of all. And second, for novice players, this is going to make moving that tire even harder than before. But I guess they just have to practice. But I mean, when you first ever played Junkrat, when you run with that tire, it's like, whoa, I can't. Like, it's so fast, you can barely, like, direct it. I wouldn't mind the health increase, but we'll see what happens. All right.
So, hold on. With the tire, it's still, like, the rip tire blows up on the wall, right?
No, they're talking about wall climbing. Since when does a tire blow up on walls? If a tire hits a wall, it climbs it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you saying it still blows up on the wall?
Will it blow up on the wall, or will it just stay up there forever? Because there's a time limit for how long the rip tire is out.
Oh, then it just falls down.
And then it doesn't explode, right? It will stay up, it'll blow. Yeah.
So when you guys say that, when we're
up.
talking about a time limit, you're talking about how long it can wall climb. So it could only climb so far, but now
and
it
then
can
would
climb
slip
forever.
Down. It used to fall after a given amount of time.
So that's kind of weirdly written
blow
because it's
up.
not nearly as much about the wall climb as it's about how far it can climb. Now it can climb walls as much as it wants, almost. All right.
Huh.
That'll allow it to get into really sneaky spots. Like I'm thinking of Watch Point Gibraltar, it can climb that really high thing where Junkrat would usually have to get up there first. Now it will allow the tire to go all the way around and over the building. All right, I saw that. Orisa is getting a fucking buff. She didn't need one. Awesome. I fucking love Orisa.
I actually really like playing with her too.
Projectile speed has been increased by 20%. It had already been decreased recently? Or was it her damage that was decreased? This is gonna make it a lot easier to lead targets. I already was doing, I feel like I was always good at Orisa because I knew how to lead the targets when a lot of people seem not to. But this will allow you to get more slippery characters like Lucia. It'll take about a tuning, but projectile barriers. Barrier size has been increased by 20%. It's interesting.
You said it so, like, passionately.
Well, and then its shape has been changed to allow more coverage from enemies that are below the barrier. Like when you're on a ledge and you toss that barrier out, if its lip is going over a little bit, there'll probably be a little curve under so that they can't shoot through it right at your team. Just a tiny bit of a lip, I bet.
Okay.
So the bad thing about increasing the size of the barrier is it's going to be more, this is a good thing and a bad thing. One, it's bigger. More team can fit behind it without needing to be so clumped up. But on the bad side, kind of like Winston's barrier, there are times where Winston's barrier pokes out into places where you don't want it and a team can easily just shave away at that barrier. So when it's bigger, it's more vulnerable to more damage and random damage from all kinds of stuff. So it disappears quicker. Like, like with there's so many times. An example I can think of is when you're coming up on the last point on Hanamura on the right-hand side, where people like to get that high ground.
Okay, yeah.
That stairwell. If you toss down a barrier, sometimes it pokes out to the other side of the wall, like through the wall, and people who aren't even looking at you through the barrier can just chip away at the side of your barrier, and you have no, like, you can't shoot them because they're on the other side of the wall, but they're killing your barrier. So there's times where you don't want it to be bigger. So it's going to be interesting to see what that's like.
I think damage was decreased, cooldown and barrier was decreased.
On her previous,
Yeah.
her damage was decreased and her cooldown on barrier was decreased. Yeah, the cooldown on barrier was huge. That was amazing. It made her incredible. The damage decrease, I remember, they thought that she should be just a little bit less damage dealing, and I didn't really notice a difference. All right, so there you go. Projectile speed helps increase her consistency, especially at medium ranges or further. This will make her able to take out Pharahs better.
And tracers.
Tracers are really hard. You still won't get tracers. Tracers are one of the hardest to get with Orisa. Tracers and Genjis.
But a little
and
bit
Lucios.
easier, maybe.
Especially at medium range or further. Okay, her barrier size has been increased to better protect her team. And the new shape makes the shield more effective when it's used on slopes or on the top of objects such as the payload. Oh yeah, slopes. It'll make it less useless on slopes, such as like, I'm thinking of Dorado on that little hill, and I'm thinking of Gibraltar when you're defending, looking down that hill. You always wanted to put it at the very top, because if you put it down a little bit, or if you're climbing even, yeah, it was a bad thing. Okay. Roadhog, take a breather. Can now be used with moving.
Whoa!
That is one of the biggest things.
Wow.
That's one of the most significant buffs on any character.
Between him
Since
and Bastion?
the buff on Bastion. That's
Yeah.
going to change the way he plays 100%.
Oh, that's awesome. The Roadhog change is incredible.
It's a damn good change because it makes him feel better to play. It's going to make him feel way better. With Bastion, it was a feel thing too.
Yeah.
It was like, not only did it make him more valuable, suddenly he felt good to play. There's nothing shittier than taking a break, like doing that ability and sitting there and waiting, watching as people shoot you.
Yeah.
Now you can start healing as you walk away.
And read the second part.
Damage taken while healing has been reduced by 50%. Wow. So he's a true
That's
tank now.
cool.
He's gone back to being a straight up tank.
Yeah.
You're gonna see. They've made him into what he should be. He's a body blocker now.
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
Because, like, ever since his nerf, his ability to be what he was, which was the guy who picks off and punishes people who've put themselves at a place, and sometimes played in some people's hands, was a flanker, which I never agreed with. To go in and pick people out from sides and stuff like that, like a trapdoor spider. Now he's going to stick with his team, hopefully, and get his fucking body right up and in the action and just take damage. So this is where it becomes a little bit of a problem with Overwatch because of the nature of ultimates. And they've talked to, I remember reading a thing about how the developers in the original, in the early days, in alpha testing and beta, even with the public, they made it so that damage dealers got ult charge from damaging, healers got ult charge from healing, tanks got ult charge from tanking, blocking, gave them ult charge. And then they realized that this is kind of shitty because now the other team doesn't want, we made a shooter where people don't want to shoot
Yeah.
people. Like suddenly people were, everybody who was testing the game was like, don't shoot him, you're giving him ult charge, stop shooting him. And they're like, this is a bad thing. This is bad. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to. So in this sense, what's bad about this is kind of the opposite, but in a way the same effect. It looks like it makes Roadhog really good to body block and fun to body block with. Is that a pass on from Shadow Chat? Somebody said I love hearing phrases from you guys. It makes you want to body block with them, but on the other hand, you have to be thinking, I am giving them ult charge by body blocking, as opposed to Reinhardt's shield, which doesn't give ult charge.
Right.
So I got excited there for a second and then immediately remembered the nature of Overwatch. So sadly, it feels like you won't be able to use them like that.
I think you still totally will.
That's a bad thing, though. You're giving them ult charge. That sucks. In fact, one of the biggest trolls I've ever seen a team do was this one guy who went to Roadhog to it wasn't a Widowmaker switch, it was a Roadhog switch to throw, but to also give the team. It was like you can go Widowmaker and be like, fuck you guys. You go Roadhog and walk into the middle and just sit there like taking a breather and just like taking damage. You're giving them so much ult charge. That's like the ultimate shithead thing to do, and I've seen it happen. And so
you won't be giving as much with 50% damage reduction.
Anyways, it's an unfortunate reality of ultimates. I mean, when I'm playing, oh my god, Widowmaker. Okay, just one second. I just want to say one more thing. When I'm playing and I have my ult, say on a good example would be Egypt. What's the name of the place? Fucking Egypt. You know what I'm talking about. The pyramids, the pharaoh. Can't think of it. On the second point defending, as they're coming through the pinch point, if I'm playing as, say, it doesn't matter who, say Junkrat, a guy who really likes to Temple of Anubis.
Thank you.
Junkrat, a guy who loves to build his ult charge with spam. If I have my ult, I'm thinking, why am I still shooting at that pinch point? Yes, they're vulnerable, and yes, it's hard for them to push up because of my spam. But on the other hand, if I'm hitting Reinhardt's barrier, that's fine. But if I'm not killing them, if I'm not guaranteed a kill when I do my spam, which you barely ever are, all I'm doing is feeding their healer's ult charge right now. I have my ult charge, so I'm not feeding mine. I'm just giving them a chance to heal their characters and build up their Mercy's res right now.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, it's one of the biggest downsides to Overwatch. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, these are types of things you start to think of when you get to higher levels of play.
Yeah, it's funny because you talk sometimes and I'm like,
When you get to higher levels of play, you're always thinking,
but I do kind of get what you're saying.
edge?
I'm just so not fucking there.
It's a game of inches when you get, the higher you get, just like in professional sports. And you're thinking about every little thing that might help. And I'm not even at the top echelons of play, I'm only a diamond.
I just like,
Yeah.
that's all I do. That's how I Overwatch, guys.
And that's fine. Widowmaker. All right, this is exciting. Exactly what needed to happen. I've been saying for so long, why is her grappling hook such a long cooldown? It doesn't make sense. Never have I fought a Widowmaker and thought, oh my god, that grappling hook, I just can't kill her because she's grappling all over the place. She's so good at grappling, I can't get her. I think that's still not even aggressive enough. 12 to 8? Make it 6.
That's a big change, but yeah,
Make it 6, and she's still not a great character. Like, she needed that.
I like playing as Widowmaker whenever I first
It can be
started.
fun, and she can actually be good in certain situations on certain maps. She's not complete garbage.
6 would be better. Yeah.
I think 6 would still be great and wouldn't make her shitty. Like, a Winston can take down a Widowmaker so easily.
Yeah.
All right, anyways. Venom Mine. Affected targets are now visible through walls. Ooh. That's a good change.
Only to Widowmaker.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's
yeah, I think they made it only to Widowmaker because they didn't want to cannibalize, or they wanted to maintain Hanzo's ability as being distinct.
Right.
I like that change, though. It's not like a massive one, but I think it's good enough that if you approach a Widowmaker's den and she has a mine set up and you're coughing on it, it's going to make you really not want to pursue her if you're anybody but a tank, because
she can see you coming.
She can see you coming.
She knows that her Venom Mine went off.
There's been times where I've embarrassingly tried to flank a Widowmaker as Pharah, dropped down on her, gotten the first rocket off, but then she like sneaks away or like grapple hooks away, and I need to get that last shot on her, and I go to get her around a corner, and then she headshots as I come around the corner. That's going to make this even more of a thing.
That is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing because she like headshots when she headshots you like point blank. It'd be interesting to see. Widowmaker is extremely powerful in the right hands, but her abilities often felt a little weak. Grappling hook cooldown reduction means she's more likely to have it available when she needs to escape. Venom Mine is intended to be an early warning system, uncovering enemies that are not attempting to flank her team. So the reason they want a big cooldown, I think, on her grapple hook,
how embarrassing,
isn't about the way that she gets away. It's the way that she can put herself up on tops on like spires. I think what they don't want is a Widowmaker who grapples up to the top of like the Greek map. Why am I bad at the names today? On the Greek map with the pit, there's a few locations on Ilios with the columns on the pit one, not the deep pit, but the actual pit you can get in.
Yeah.
And there's actually a spire on the one with the actual pit, the well. There are a couple like spires that you can get up on top of, and it's just like the size of a square, and you can shoot at it, but you're very vulnerable. It's a great location to shoot at people, but once you have to like dodge, you fall off. And I think the cooldown was meant to prevent Widowmakers from constantly going like this, jumping up on top, taking a shot, dropping down, waiting a second, jumping up, so that nobody can ever kill her unless they rush her.
Right.
So she can't even really be counter-sniped or like, you know...
Well, what's the problem with that? Then you just have to like be aggressive and go after her.
You have to go after
she's gonna be like
But
right in this area.
I'm just saying, I think that's why they don't want to be too aggressive with their cooldown. They're worried about the implications of how she'll be played. That's why I think. All right, so that seems like that's it. Added an outline opacity option under the custom reticle settings. Oh, you can make your outline a little bit less stark.
Ah.
And then a whole bunch of bug fixes. Can anybody highlight any of those that are worth reading or anything that's interesting in there? What's up, Becky? Oh, usually you do that when you want to.
But I want something.
The stream went down. That's Becky's.
I'm sorry. It's apparently also my body.
All right, let's go check in on.
No. Eliminate all reticles. No aiming, just gun. No more Diva black screen bug. Diva bug is gone.
Oh, it'll be back again soon. The black screen bug is always come and gone so often. All right, there's the developer update. Let's check out what Jeff has to say about this.
Good morning, everyone.
Where's Jeff?
From the Overwatch team. We're
good.
here with another developer
right
update. So one of the things that we see you ask for the most
Do you think that his
is
own
new game
people that he
modes.
works with like sit there recording these and are like, when he says it,
He nailed it.
he nailed it.
fucking
He
nailed
said
it.
it again. Like, I wonder if it's as big a thing to him. I wonder if during staff meetings he says, "Hey, everybody, it's Jeff from the Overwatch team."
Oh my god, I hope so.
And now I remember back at BlizzCon, I think it was last year, I was once asked, are you guys ever going to do Deathmatch? And the answer at the time was no. We just didn't think it was right for the game.
I don't think it is
Our
either.
thought was that in both quick play and competitive, we always wanted teams focused on objective-based combat and not off kind of doing their own thing. Well, things have changed. We've introduced the arcade last year,
okay.
and it's been a really big success for us. But the coolest part about the arcade is it's opened up our ability as developers to introduce game modes to you guys that we wouldn't normally feel comfortable putting in the quick play or competitive rotation. So therefore, the exciting announcement is that Deathmatch is coming soon to the arcade, and I think you guys are going to really love it. So, for those of you who don't know what Deathmatch
Maybe
is, it's
team
probably one of the oldest forms of
Deathmatch.
FPS gameplay where the simple goal is to see how many kills you can get on the scoreboard. And that's right, we've built a special scoreboard just for Deathmatch so you can know how good you're doing.
But
in
a
terms
kill
of
is just the
kills.
last blow.
Now, there's two different ways
not a-
that you will
like-
be able to play Deathmatch, and I think they're both awesome for different reasons.
True.
The first, the core
can
mode that we're
kill
just calling
Snake.
Deathmatch, is completely free-for-all, meaning it's you against 7 other players in a map. You can pick whatever hero you want, and I guarantee nobody on your team is going to complain about it. All you have to prove is that you can get the highest score. We usually play to 20 in these Deathmatch maps. That you can get the,
Where do
the
they
highest
spawn
score
you?
before anybody else. Now you might
If
be
it's a free-for-all, you
wondering,
can't spawn
in
within
the
your
arcade,
teams,
does
otherwise
that
your
mean
team
I
would never
have to beat
leave,
7
just
people
killing each
every
other
time
forever.
to get my win to count for
They
my
must have
arcade
random
wins
drop
each
points
week
throughout
if
the
I
map.
want to get my 3 loot boxes.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, the way we handle that is if you are in the top half
Spawns
of
are
players
random.
in the match, which in this case means you're the top 4, you will get win credit towards your arcade loot box. But obviously, you really want to be that top player, and I have faith in you guys.
Do you get extra rewards for being the top
Really
top?
try to be that top player.
Because what he
So
just said,
you-
sorry, I talked over it. Usually you get loot boxes when you win a few or something, and he says you'll get credit if you're in the top 4. I think that if you're the top person, though, you should get extra credit, like to
I
really
imagine you
get
do.
yourself towards
I
those
feel
loot
like
boxes.
you should get some extra
Might
credit
be
if you're the
wondering,
very
like,
last,
where do I
because
play
you need the morale
Deathmatch?
boost.
All the maps are built for escort or assault or control.
Please.
Well, we've
Isn't that nice?
modified a lot of our maps, not all of them, but some of the hybrid and escort maps and some of the assault maps, we've modified portions of them to accommodate this deathmatch mode. And we think you'll find it a lot of fun. The other thing that we're doing, and perhaps most exciting to me personally, is we're introducing a brand new map built specifically for free-for-all deathmatch. Now, not only does this map have great gameplay, we've put some really cool jump pads. There's
Maybe
open
I'll have
areas
fun.
for Pharah to fly around, tight Reaper corridors for you to mess around with. The gameplay is great, but I think the story is really
healing.
cool, and the art behind the map is awesome also.
Weird.
So
It'll be
the
interesting.
map
How do
is
alts
home
work?
To Amelie
You've been
Lacroix.
dying that
You
often.
might know her better as Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Well, previously, before she was married to Gerard Lacroix, she was known as Amélie Guillard. Now, this is Chateau Guillard, her family estate in France. And we think you'll find it
I'm gonna go play
amazing
Mercy
and beautiful,
in the
and there's
deathmatch.
going to be slight hints about her background and what
Wouldn't it be
she's
great
currently up to
is
in
if,
this map.
as
So we think it's
Mercy,
going
you
to be
could
a lot
heal
of fun.
anybody?
We have a new
Oh my
custom
God.
There's no team,
Just
so you can
reds
just heal
everyone.
anyone.
play on
Too.
in the upcoming patch. Now, the other mode that we've added is Team Deathmatch, and this one's very simple to
Alts work
explain. It's
regularly.
just like the other mode, except that you and your team, which is going to be a team of 6 against another team of 6, are playing to get to 30 kills, and we'll see who can get to that 30 kills the fastest. Mercy Resurrect does some interesting things in this mode. It actually takes kill credit away from the other team. So someone like a Mercy is super valuable to have on your team. Now, the Team Deathmatch maps use a different pool because we did a lot of testing and we found certain things worked and certain things didn't in team versus
I think Team
free-for-all
Deathmatch could be a lot of fun.
For example, the Chateau was not particularly fun for us to play Team Deathmatch on, but the
I
arena
think you could
maps
see
like
Team
Black
Deathmatch hit
Forest,
competitive.
Acropolis, Eco Point Antarctica, plus some other portions of other maps
One
that
day.
we've done before. Like you'll see some of our modified CTF maps were fantastic for this Team Deathmatch mode. So we hope you guys will play these.
It feels
They're
more like
completely
Overwatch.
different than anything
Team
we
Deathmatch.
have in Overwatch. I like to think of it as a great area to go and blow off steam after a really tough night of competitive matches, or perhaps you're just starting the night and you want to get warmed up for competitive, so you can jump
That's
in
true.
and have some fun there. The game is completely different. Both
Overwatch isn't
free-for-all
about fun.
and team will bring different elements to you
Serious
all. I
shit,
think
dude.
a
Not when
lot
you're
of
trying to
you
get your
who play
rank.
Old school shooters will really love the vibe that this brings.
Not when the game
And more
places you
important
in
to me
low gold.
is that I look at
Yeah,
this as just
that's
the
the
beginning
worst.
of what we can be doing. The game browser and custom game
Did you get your
ranking?
match as almost a platform.
You haven't got it yet?
So obviously
You're
we
so
have
close.
a very basic
I know, I
rule
don't
set
want
in
it.
there. We
I don't
let you
want
pick
it.
whatever hero
Get
you
it.
It's probably
want.
gonna be low
You can
gold or
actually
some
skip the kill
bullshit.
cam to respawn faster in this
fuck?
mode, which a lot of you
Oh, wait a
will really
minute.
like. But we're going to be you pick whatever hero you want. You can actually
Okay, you can skip the kill cam
to respawn faster in this mode, which a
in
lot of you
Deathmatch.
will really like. But we're going to be looking to the game browser and custom game for future iterations of adding cool and new interesting rules. I think some of these will be immediately available to you guys. For example, one of the funnest playtests we had, we made everybody go McCree for 2 minutes, and we played all as McCree in free-for-all deathmatch. And then after 2 minutes, somebody called out, hey, let's try out Hanzo's instead, and we all went to Hanzo's. I'd love to see you guys trying this stuff in the custom game browser.
I want Jeff just to be like, and then we all went to Hanzo's, and then I did this thing where I kept on crouching and everybody was laughing. I want to just tell more stories about playing Overwatch. And then so he's like, hey, we should go to Roadhogs, and I couldn't stop laughing.
And maybe eventually we'll build
And
more
then some
rules
pop
in the
came out of my
custom
nose.
game browser that allow you guys to create more cool and awesome modes, and us along with you on that. So anyway, I know at one point I said we would never have deathmatch in Overwatch. Well, surprise, never say never. It's coming really soon, and we think it's awesome. Get out there
course.
and enjoy it.
And then I killed Dave, and I never killed Dave, but I killed him, and he couldn't believe it.
Oh god.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? All right, so
Well,
that's
that's fun.
interesting.
Is anyone very excited about Deathmatch?
Well, I'm excited to see this new map, so we're gonna jump in.
Stupid Dave.
We're gonna jump into the PTR just to check it out, and I'll just derp around on that map. I doubt that I'll get like a real feel of actual deathmatch without
It's your jam.
it being on the. But it should be interesting. I'm
You're good with Mercy's gun. Wasn't excited, but after playing it, it's quite fun.
yeah. All right.
Might get into Overwatch because of this. Sweet.
I think
fun.
one of the best characters might be D.Va. Because D.Va has spray. Like, remember, you're rewarded for only the final blow. So somebody could have chipped away at that Roadhog all the way to the end, like a Bastion or whatever, working on this Roadhog forever, and then, it's a black screen right now. And then it would, you only, like, if the D.Va comes in and just shoots with one of her little tiny bullets, grazes him and kills him, then she gets the kill.
Yeah. Fraser,
Yeah?
can you move that laptop over in front of that screen over there so I can read this chat a little bit better?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But the other reason is she doesn't give the team points if you get her out of her mech. In fact, I think a lot of people won't even shoot you.
D.Va's super solid in it
I think a lot of people are going to see D.Va and they won't even shoot her.
because
They're going to be like, it's not even worth it right now.
Yeah.
There's a Genji. I need the final blow on him. People are just going to ignore the D.Va because what am I rewarded for? If I shoot her, even if I get the last shot, I don't get a point for that mech.
yeah.
I have to then get her after that. But if you are popped out of mech, people are going to be all over you. But I think she'd be one of the most interesting, most powerful characters. All right. Doomfist, yeah, certainly. I could see that being interesting in Deathmatch.
and Sombra.
And there you're getting a preview of the map in the background right there. All right, guys. I'm actually going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this to check out the new game mode and map. Stick around.